Welcome back to Voice Bootcamp. Hello, my name is Faisal Khan, Cisco collaboration instructor at VoiceBootcamp.com. In this video, I'm going to talk about managing teams. Now, you can create teams to associate a set of agents with supervisors. Now, supervisors can then run report on that particular team and receive functions like supervisor assist when it is requested by any of the team member. Now, if you want a supervisor to assist a team member, it must first indicate that in a desk settings, in agent desk settings configuration that you use. And it must be supported by the agent desktop software such as Finesse or any third-party agent desktop software that is supported by the Cisco package UCCE. Now, agent cannot be a member of more than one team at a time. So what do you do when you have an agent that need to be part of more than one team? Well, you can make them a supervisor and tell them, hey, yes, your title, your functionality may be a supervisor, but don't do any supervisor functionality. Okay, so that's one of the easy way to maneuver that problem. Now, after you create a team with an agent and or supervisors, you can then assign various resources such as custom desktop layout, phone book, reasons. Now, let me tell you on one thing though. On version 12, when you're trying to create those additional resources and assign to a team, there seems to be a bug which is preventing you from doing that from the package UCCE web interface such as SPOG. You can still do that by going to the Finesse manually and configure it, but seems like on version 12, at least the version that we are using at the time of recording this, there seems to be a bug on that. So every time you try to add a resource, like let's say you want to add a phone book, the page just doesn't load. Now this is a confirmation by a few of my other friends who are using the package UCC on their production environment. Now the desktop layout, phone book, workflow resources can be pre-configured under going to desktop, and then you can go to resource. You'll see this is where you would be configuring all the different services that you can assign to a team, which in return will be available in Finesse. For example, when the agent logs in. Now, I'm right now at my resource page, and as you can see that I have call variable, I have desktop layout, I have phone book, and I have workflow, but none of them opens. But same thing, I can actually configure it by going to the Finesse administration. So this is one of the drawbacks as of this particular video. Now, an administrator can see and maintain all the teams. So let's say I'm not an IT guy. I'm an IT administrator or UCCE administration. Well, when I log in with my admin privilege, I can see all the teams and I can see all the members that are part of team. However, if you are a supervisor who is logging in who has a supervisor capability, well, you can only have a display only access to the team tools. So, for example, let's say you're a supervisor and you want to take a look at or try to create a team, it's not going to work. But you can see who are the member of your team or how many agents are logged in or whatnot and all those functionality. So how do I configure a team? As an administrator, I would go to the overview. You would then go to organization setup, and you'll see the team options right there in the very first option. And as you can see, I have currently 2 teams available. Now, we have already talked about teams in the previous video as well. So this could be some of the repeating tasks. So if you want to create a team, there are certain information that you need to provide. For example, if I go to sales, you would need the name, which is a mandatory. Description, not a required, although you may want to put a description for some sort of functionality that maybe someone else can say, hey, what this team is all about. That could be very useful for maybe troubleshooting or even understanding your environment. Now, you will see site. Now, site is okay. So first of all, if you have a deployment of 2,000 agent, then the site will be automatically selected as a main site. Okay. So this is something that is automatically selected. It is a required, but it is automatically selected. If you have multiple sites, then you should be able to add select that if you need to. Now there's one particular field that is not available here. It's called peripheral set. Okay. Now peripheral set is not visible in this particular configuration. The reason behind that is it is only available if you're deploying the package UCCE for 4,000 agent or 12,000 agent. Now the fact that we're using a 2,000 agent concept on a lab environment, so you will not have the peripheral set information. This field is only available for certain type of deployment. Now the supervisor DN or the dial number is not a mandatory, but you can specify a supervisor dial number which will trigger a script that is associated with the dial number. This could include all the dial number with a routing type called internal voice. So if you do need to route to a set of supervisors, you could do that by dialing or redirecting the calls to that particular number. Now when it comes to team member, so the team member is where you add agents or people who are going to be member of this group. So an agent is associated with the selected site, and a peripheral set, if you have a 4,000 agent or higher, will then appear as well. Now one thing, when you're adding an agent into a team or removing an agent from the team, well, when you do that, the same information will be updated in the corresponding collection in Unified Intelligence Center or the reporting server. So whenever you're adding a user or removing, the corresponding changes will be automatically done. So you want to make sure that your CYC reporting server is also up and running and is connected and accessible. Otherwise, some update information will basically fail. If you go to the supervisor, this is where you're going to select the supervisor. Now, as I said in an earlier video, the supervisors are always identified with a fully qualified URI. In this case, username at vbcpod4.com, because that's the corresponding Active Directory account exists for that particular user. You also have to make sure that they are an AD users in order to be act as a supervisor. Now when you add a supervisor to a team, the same supervisor or user account in Intelligence Center will be added with supervisor permission to the reporting server. So because the supervisor will have certain functionality such as adding generating some report and whatnot, they may need to customize that report, so they will have supervisor privilege on the Intelligence Center or Cisco Unified IC or reporting server, whatever you want to call it. Team resource, this is where we'll select the resources that are available. Right now, as you can see, there is no resource is available at this stage. You can go to not ready and whatnot. We'll talk about each one of them, what they do, so that you can get a better understanding. Now the first sub-tab under team resource would be called desktop layout. Now the desktop layout, which is to customize the site, okay, based on certain, maybe you want to have a different background color, or maybe you want to have a different tabs for different teams. So you could do that by specifying a desktop layout name that is highly customizable in XML. Followed by, you got phone book. Now the phone book is basically what it is a pop-up, is basically a contact list. Again, when you click on a phone book, you can, if there is a phone book available or configured, it will be then automatically available. You can just simply select that this is the phone book, goes to this particular sales team. And phone book, usually to understand the phone book, you just simply remove it. But phone book usually contains a bunch of contacts that can be used by the agent to communicate with those individuals. Now, certain teams may need different reason for being not ready or different reason for logging out. So you may need to customize different reason code for or different sign out reason based on team. For example, if you could have I don't know, if your call center is set up somewhere in Middle East, so an agent may need to go log out mode, not ready mode, because he or she needs to pray, for example. So you want to be able to select a reason code because you want the management to know why you were not at your desk signed in and logged in to receive a call during a specific time. Now, if you have a team in North America, you probably wouldn't have that that reason code. But if you are a team in Middle East, where certain people have to pray certain time, in that case they could select that option. So they said that, okay, I'm going to not ready because I'm about to go and pray, do my prayer. So same thing with sign out. Now the sign out could be why you're signing out. Maybe I want to go to a meeting. Maybe I have to go go home. Maybe my shift is ending. Maybe I'm feeling sick. You want to have as many reasonable sign out reasons so that when a user need to use them, the management will know the reason why that person has to sign out. It could be because simply a meeting obligations. So similar thing with the wrap up reason. When you are wrapping up, defining a wrap up reason is basically when a customer hangs up the call, but the agent still takes about anywhere between 30 seconds to 120 seconds to complete the previous call or adding notes. You may want to put wrap up reason, let's say updating customer database data, or taking a notes, or requesting second level team to handle this, something like that. So it all depends on each organization, what the team is supposed to be doing, and they can come up with any number of reasons, and they can associate those reasons for different areas, such as not ready, sign out, and wrap up reason. Now the workflow is one of my most favorite because workflow can be used for screen pop-up. Now this is very popular feature in contact center because the workflow could be used to, let's say, pop up a screen with a customer data. Could be a Google map showing the location of the customers if you are an utility company. So workflow is a very important and productive functionality. I will have a bunch of videos on that later in this course. So there's something to show you how to use the workflow to trigger various services or applications, or even simply getting information in front of the agent desktop. So that pretty much wrap up the team. And as I say, the team is very important functionality in contact center. You organize team with agent and supervisors, where the supervisors will be able to monitor them. So for example, if I'm right now going to log into my Finesse, I'm going to log in as an agent first. So I'm going to first open my phone one. And what I'll do, I'll say, I believe my team member were what? So FCon, I have user FCon, agent 1 and agent 2. So let's go and try with an user called agent 1. And the extension of the phone that I'm going to use is 2001. So I'm logging as a normal employee, normal agent. As you can see, I am not ready at this stage. I have agent 1. My ID is 8746170. I could use that ID to log in, sign out, or send any report. Now, right now, I am part of these two queue called support and sales. And as you can see, there's only no calls right now. And I can go to ready mode, or I have a reason code for smoke break. So let's say I'm in ready right now and I'm about to receive a call. Call will come in and I'll just simply answer. But let's say I need to go to my smoke break, okay? So what I'll do, I'll simply say smoke break. So what's happening right now is that I'm going into a break. But in the recording, it will show that the person was not ready because he's on a smoke break. And why you want to do that? Because you want to track the users. You want to find out how long it takes for them to come back and log in, right? Because if the user is taking a smoke break for, let's say, 10 minutes, well, this is okay maybe. But if it's taking for 1 hour, then there's what are you doing? Making smoke? You first and then smoking? Well, you want to be able to capture those type of scenario. All right, so this is what we talk about is a reason code. Now, as I said, I couldn't create a reason code in the package UCCE web interface due to the restrictions. However, you could go to your FNA CF admin, which is finance administration page. Now in the finance administration page, you'll see the reason as well on the left hand side, and you'll see the bunch of reason code that I've created. Smoke breaks, some of them are system related or whatnot. So I'm going to create a reason code for signing out. So when I'm about to sign out, I need a reason code. I need to tell the system why. Okay, so I'm going to create believe that you have to do it from the finance now, because this action can only be performed from the UCCE administration. So let's see. I don't think it will let me create the reason code from here. Oh, it's right there. Right here, reason label. And right now I got a bunch of reason label on my package UCC web interface, or so-called SPOG. I'm going to go ahead and create a new reason code for sign out. And the goal is to say, hey, why are you signing out? I could say end of shift, because then my shift ended. Or I could simply say going to a meeting, pre-scheduled meeting or urgent meeting. So let's say I'm going to create 2 or 3. So I'm going to say end of shift. Okay. So you can put a code. Let's say I'll put a code 1025 and end of the shift. Sorry, end of shift. And is it either global or specific? You know, if you say global, it will be available to all the team. But I want to be specific to a team. Okay. So I'm going to save that. Now I'm going to create 2 more, again for sign out, and the second sign out could be, okay, pre-schedule meeting. There are certain meetings that are scheduled in advance, so you already know that, and there are certain meetings, for example, happens on the fly, because on demand. Then why would you need to do that? Well, first of all, if you have pre-scheduled meeting and you're gone for the whole day, then management can check to see whether you had a scheduled meeting or not. But you know, or if you select a pre-scheduled meeting and then you didn't have this meeting, well, that can come back to, you know, harm you. So you want to be able to keep track of the users based on certain things. So I'm going to say 2501, 26. Let's say rather team specific, and save. Now you understand. I'm not going to go to you know, on demand scheduling meeting. You got the point. All right, so now that I got the 2 team created, I need to be able to assign them into that team. And that is where the problem is of assigning resources. Oh, sorry, team. So I'm going to go to my team. I will select the support team and team resource, sign out. Let's see if I can select. So for some reason, it will not show up here. And that is the bug that we are talking about. Okay, so let me see if I could do that from the web administration. Okay, so I have my reason code. Let me sign out. Okay, there you go. It showed up here, end of shift and pre-scheduled meeting. So I do have my reason code being visible by the administrator. Now I need to assign them to the team. To do that from the UCCE administration, you would go to the team and you go to team resource, but unfortunately I'm facing that problem, right? So what I'll do, I will apply that from the finance administration, go to the team resource, and you'll see that there's 2 teams available. You got the sales team, support team, and the default. So if I select the support team and I go to, let's say, reason code, sign out, and this is where I can specify. Again, I cannot do that because it says it has to be administered by the package UCCE. So, but at least you know where to go if you're doing an individual. You know, sometimes you may run this application individually as well. So right now I can't take that functions because of that restrictions that I have. Okay, but you got an idea about how things are related to each other, and you can then easily be apply that within your applications. All right, so that's pretty much all there is about managing the team, assigning resources and workflows and various resources to your team, either directly from the UCCE administration or package UCCE administration, or by, if you are running the old traditional way, simply go to the finance administration and apply it through that alternative method. So I hope you found this video to be useful and resourceful. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.